one of our speakers got sick suddenly, and we have a surprise for you. Forrest Gump thought life is like a box of chocolates. Never you know what you are gonna get. Something you get some bad things like sickness, but we managed to cope with it. So still we have two keynote speakers. One is Jacek Ostrowski, the board member of Nutropharma, and then is a special guest, Tymoteusz Pawełczyk, that he will show you how to make AI rack, AI deployment for quality management. We also add a video from Przemysław Rzodkiewicz to our presentation, which is a Chief Inspector for Agriculture and Food Quality. He will take on the video. He prepared a speech how AI could be deployed in the food quality management. Thank you very much, our organizers, Konrad Maj from HumanTech Meetings Tech Center, and my co-organizer is BPM Center for Faculty of Economics, University of Warsaw. Thank you, David Rubens, for being co-organizer too, ISRM, Tomasz Ludwicki, who is next to me, and DELAB. Thank you, Rector of University of Warsaw, for being patronate. Thanks, Polish-Swedish Chamber of Commerce, and the Ministry of Digital Affairs and Ministry of Education. We have a Nobel committee, a scientific committee. Thank you very much for taking care of our events. Thanks, patrons, Dean of Faculty of Economics, Dean of Faculty of Management, our partners Nutropharma, Polish Forum ISO 9000, all over one, and all of the people behind that initiative. I hope it will be a great pleasure for us to cooperate with you in future events. Special thanks for supporting, for co-organizing with you, Konrad and HumanTech. And now I will pass the stage to our moderator, which is Dr. Tomasz Ludwicki from EMBA. The floor is yours, Tomasz.
Good afternoon, everybody. At least this is the time zone we are here in Poland. So it is my great honor to welcome all of you here in this room. We are kindly hosted by Nutrotech as a company, Nutropharma, excuse me. We are here to discuss the question about how to apply artificial intelligence to quality and to quality management. And actually, as probably most of us have experienced, AI is a hot topic pretty much all over the place. I just came back from the conference in Budapest, where every second session has AI in its name. And I was really surprised there are so many experts in this field. I think they turned out over the night almost to become somebody to talk about. However, there are some flaws in this process, and I hope that this session will help us to deal with them. And let me share with you a short anecdote from the conference I just attended. So we had one of the sessions in which there was a presentation about AI and its awareness among business leaders in general and leaders from the universities delivering MBAs all over the world. And there was research, there was some graphs presented, and in each of those graphs there was a question about ChatGPT. And the presentation was actually titled that this is going to be about AI. So pretty much in the half of this presentation, somebody finally raised a hand and asked the question, are you talking about ChatGPT in particular? Are you talking about AI in general? Could you just explain this because you are referring to ChatGPT? And the person who was presenting answers with something like this, oh, we are talking about AI. And then another person asked again a question, yeah, but there are different models for AI. So there is ChatGPT, there is Gemini, like giving hand or maybe a hint to presenters. They stick to the idea that this is artificial intelligence, and they are just questioning about ChatGPT. So in my understanding, they have no clue about what they were talking about. And unfortunately, it's not the only place, it was not the only presentation I have a similar experience. So I strongly believe we are here to bring evidence. And I think there is a lot of ideas we can talk about artificial intelligence, but the biggest question that we are talking right now is about how to use it, how to provide artificial intelligence as one of the tools. And today's topic is quality management, which I think is extremely important for any company. However, since I'm a professor of strategic management, so for me, the big question is about how AI will have influence over the competitive advantage of companies. And there is a lot of voices, there are a lot of hypotheses about how it will change the world. And I think one of the outcomes of this session will be to finally have some evidence, to have some cases of how AI has been implemented, what kind of results it can bring from companies, from people who have this hands-on experience with AI, and hopefully we can build on that and talk about some more universal results that we can use for many companies, many businesses, many ventures we are involved with. So I believe this is the idea of this session, and we have a wonderful set of speakers that will be able to talk about it from different fields. And actually, the first presentation is going to be by Jacek Ostrowski from Pharma, and he will present to us the application of AI in this particular company, which is by default a very innovative company in a very developing field of nutrition. So we are very much looking forward for this presentation, and then we will move on with the following sessions in which we will have different examples. But finally, we will have also a panel discussion. So I hope that we can share experiences from different fields we are all involved in. And to all of the panel members, please follow up the presentations, because I hope we can have then a great discussion about AI and its application for both quality management, and finally, I hope that for strategic management as well. So let me invite Jacek Ostrowski to present the case study of a Polish company, Pharma, and let's listen to the application of AI in this particular company that's so kind that they are hosting us here and serving some nice food and drinks. So next time, please be here in person, not just online. So Jacek, the floor, the screens are all yours.
We are food supplements producer. We started in 2019, so we have a big experience in food supplements. We started as a wholesaler. Now we are just focused on the food supplements, but we have a strong pharmaceutical background. I would like to take a brief journey about how looks our approach to the quality management and the quality assurance regarding the possibilities of using AI in this area. What we have and what we started with in 2017, we have, of course, the big experience, the previous experience, but in general, we are just we produce the food supplements. We started in 2017 by implementing the ISO 22000, the system which is generally provided for, especially for the food quality management. Next year, it was just a kind of response from our market for the needs of our market. We developed our own quality management system, which was based on the ISO, but generally included more things which we observed and what was needed regarding quality to the market of food supplements. And 2023, we participated in the Polish Quality Award with the implementation of EFQM model just to our society, to our quality, to our organization, I would say. In 2024, we started just as a kind of a continuous development of our quality processes. We started collaboration with the students. Yes, it was a team led by our colleague, yes, Piotr Senkus, which helps us to develop new areas of quality improvement with the use of AI. The first, as I mentioned, the first milestone was implementation certification of a food safety management system according to the ISO 22000. It was we assumed that it was system now is still we believe that this is a system which is adequate to our organization. And we made, of course, some internal assumptions, changes that the changes to maintain all these things were included in the base on the ISO 20000. ISO system pursues continuous improvement according to the PDCA cycle. We still, of course, focus on improving of our FSMS system. It's based generally, probably this is kind of a very well-known standard. It's basic on HACCP with the good practices and generally with the ISO 9001 requirements. Sorry, just sorry. In 2019, as I mentioned, we started. We have implemented the system which we called NQS. It is our internal quality system, which was, as I mentioned, was response for the market requirements, especially from the pharmacists and generally for our clients, which encompass all these things related to our bench. As also, as I mentioned, in the last year, we took a part in the formula of Polish Quality Award based on the EFQ and quality improvement system. We just the audit was conducted, and we received valuable information about our system, and also just had some ideas just to implement artificial intelligence. The FQM model is globally recognized tool which support the organization. Sorry, once again. Which support our organization. Yes. Well, in 2024, we just started a partnership with the team of students led by the Professor Piotr Senkus. We have some innovative, generally look on the quality and all the things related to the new technologies. of course, derived from the students. We observe a fresh perspective, and we feel, of course, the new generation mindset. The students help us just to prepare our system, which will be included elements of AI into our organization, especially for the quality assessment and control activities. Amongst all the questions regarding the AI, there is a question about whether the AI can replace or reduce the human power just in the processes and generally eliminate, in fact, the people. However, we see that it's not generally possible. In fact, the human work, the human values, human approach, and all the things which we have is still difficult to achieve by the AI systems. So the AI can be something which supports. Which can be supportive to the quality assurance and general quality effort, but cannot just replace all the expert and the human effort here. So coming to the projects we developed with the group of the University of Warsaw, as I mentioned, led by the Piotr Senkus, Professor Piotr Senkus. We started with two projects encompass the things which are very essential for our organization, generally for the branch of the food supplements. So first is generally system AI supported, which will support our raw material management system. It's a part of its creation, just binding the things related to the warehouse management system, but generally qualification of the suppliers and all the things related to managing of the goods. Which we think that AI support will be just led us to optimization processes. Second project is a raw material risk analysis. As I mentioned, this is essential. The raw materials in our industry is generally essential to have the good product, because it's made of, the plants are made of generally of the raw material sources. So we see that we see some kind of a risk in the sourcing of this, and we analyze this risk. So we decided also just to implement AI solutions just to this risk analysis and to optimize and minimize the risk of the raw material projects. We see that AI has also great potential for process improvement. We see that we can use also in the other areas. We start with the projects with as I mentioned, with the raw materials management and with the risk assessment. We also consider just to use the AI support together with data analysis and the CAPA implementation for our QA activities. We are the food supplements producer, as I mentioned at the beginning. We want to be a leader in innovation and quality improvement through our expert work and our expert effort, but also with the use of newest technology. We use of AI to help our clients and generally the people, this mission, to be more healthy and to provide the best solutions just to keep the health better. So thank you much for your attention and for the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jacek, for this presentation. And we Piotr asked for questions, and we have a question concerning the EFQM satisfaction model. And could you just refer to this, how actually EFQM satisfaction model uses AI, That's the first question. And then where does AI come into the quality management process to ensure high quality and a good customer satisfaction process? So just if you could please elaborate a little bit on that, this would be useful. And we are looking for more questions from the audience. And thanks for the questions.
So maybe I will handle the question because we are in the process of delivering the solution. First idea is that AI will handle all claims or communications and suggestions with clients.
Another thing is to qualify suppliers.
It's also an important issue, especially in the companies like Pharma, which is, of course, ISO 9001 standard implemented, and the other standards, and got Polish Quality Award. So, for basic classification and for basic customer support, it is crucial for them to use AI. Actually, our students, one is here, Timoteusz, are working on the ready solution. I think they have more than 70%, so we will see how it will go. So now I would like to show you the second part of presentation, actually from scientific department of Pharma. Because Pharma is not only a company which mixes the things, it also is own scientific department, and I will show you a message from the scientific department from Pharma. Here you are, 10 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Pasternak-Winiarska. I'm artist specialist in Pharma. And today I would like to share more information on how AI can boost quality management in pharma.
Yeah, switch off software.
Okay. One moment.
Industry. I would like to also thank you very much for invitation and had the opportunity to record my presentation because I can't be with you personally. So let's start. It will be a case study how NQS works. NQS stands for Pharma Quality System. And first, I would like to mention diet supplement quality, the definition of what is diet supplement and quality, what's the elements of it. And first of all, materials and production processes, clear materials, processes without possibility of contamination, of course. There are obvious elements, but there are also another one, maybe not such obvious. It's safety formulas and communication, so product and customer. So where exactly does the product quality begin and ends? To ask this question, answer this question, I would like to introduce you firstly our program, the idea that it's enriched with some elements based on formulas, safety, and communication, which I mentioned at the beginning. So first pillar of our program is based on knowledge. If our idea is grounded in scientific information, latest scientific information. If our idea for the product is proper for target group, so we use many data to create a finest formula and working with a multidisciplinary medical professionals team. So this is the beginning, and after that, the second pillar is connected with production processes. When we take care about clear material, clear and products. And in the end, communication. If we take care about our customer and want to communicate properly, we give information about the side effects, give information about interaction between ingredients, and also collecting information about that. So nutri-vigilance is very needed, and proper labeling. So how to create simple information for the customer from very, very complicated scientific knowledge. Sometimes it's very complicated, so it's not obvious how to label properly. So this is 3 pillars of NQS. It also contains ISO certification, but with this begin and this end, we have enriched version. So the quality begins and the ends in RD department when we talk about safety formulas and communication. And I remember when I took part in RD professional workshop during business trade in pharma industry in Barcelona last year, all of us draw conclusion that RD face special challenges. First of all, meeting deadlines. It's not a general problem. It's not only RD, I guess, but also the challenge was connected with data retrieval, how to efficiently obtain information. And after that, data analyzing in a proper way and how to communicate our conclusion. So this area is connected with quality. So how AI can help us with these challenges, and I would like to focus on AI possibility. And first is the great tool, excellent tool for scientific data retrieval. Is so much easier to ask a good question, a proper question to obtain many information. But after that, we should analyze them carefully and communicate, create the communication for customer, for workshop, for professionalists. So there's the second and third area, data analyzing and the data communication, should be just supported by AI, because as far human have information about the context of our data. For example, AI as far have general knowledge about the law, and we have exact path of the law in our country, in different country also. So when, for example, we think about the labeling, it's better to be supported than with AI, than AI did labeling instead of us. And the third part, communication. AI could be great tool to create, for example, materials for a workshop. So we can focus on another aspects of our work than create presentation, for example. And so to unlock the power of AI is awareness of what's the quality challenges and in which area AI can support us effectively to obtain the results in a proper time. Because all data retrieval, analyzing, communication is very time consuming. So is an AI and quality management friend or foe? Always. If we don't mix our competency with the AI and use as a tool, as support in analyzing communication, and be aware that still we have better knowledge about the context, AI could be a friend, very good friend. And it could be a foe at the same time when we forget that it's just a tool, not co-worker. So this is time to quick sum up my presentation, that the quality could begins and ends in RD department to take care about the safety formula, good communication, neutral vigilance, match quickly information about side effects or interaction. But still, remember that you are a specialist and AI is a specialist's support. It's a tool for you in your work, also to obtain, to get this quality when we, especially when we think about enriched quality with RD works. So thank you for your attention. If you have some questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for invitation, and I hope we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Piotr, for sharing this clip. We wish we had Ania with us so we could ask more questions, but maybe we can use Jacek and Piotr's knowledge. And Limar, I fully agree with you that human factor is really crucial here for success. So let me use my role as a moderator for this panel and ask our host from Nutrapharma, how did you persuade participants to your workers to use AI tools? And if you can share with us any of the successes you've achieved with AI that would be impossible to achieve or much more costly to achieve without it. These are my two questions, and let's have some others to join us and have more questions for Nutrapharma. So could you please answer, Jacek or Anna?
Okay, Anna is probably unavailable, so yes, so we just connected remotely. Answer to the question: we are on the beginning of the process of implementation, so we cannot just summarize our efforts just to how it looks AI is. So maybe in some long period of time we will get some information with which will give us the possibility to present more data for this. And we are working just on how to implement, and this is maybe this is the first parties of the project. So maybe it is too early just to summarize. I think it will be maybe just a subject for other meeting. Yes, maybe we'll present, of course, it.
Yeah, I think we will have first results in and
Shall we? Yeah. Okay. So if we have, if you can, please let's move on to the next presentation. I think the questions we have had, there still are pending, and I think one of the things we are looking for is more examples of how to do it. And let me share one that I have learned yesterday from my friend. I talked about today's session and yesterday's session, and he's really an advocate for AI in his company. And one of his idea was to just ask every of his employees to use AI at home. And if you have any hobby, any passion, just try to use it for searching for new recipes, for dishes you make, for new ways for surfing, playing tennis, whatever. And this way, people came back to him with a lot of examples of how it improved or shortened their time for looking for an answer. So maybe this is one of the simple ways to get people on board if you have skeptics within your organization. But let's have another example, and this time this will be Tymoteusz Pawełczyk, who is an AI consultant and a rising leader in AI. And let me invite him to share his experiences. This time, this will be connected with coding. So let's see how we can use AI in order to improve the quality of the work. So Tymoteusz, again, the screen is all yours. We're looking forward for this presentation.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I will just open my presentation. Today I will show you, one moment. Okay, great. Is it on a full screen in the Zoom? Które? One moment. Please.
As we can see, technology is there. The big question is how to use it.
lucky we have technical knowledge. I will show you
AI and RAG in quality and assurance management. Even in the previous presentation, there was a topic of data retrieval in the R&D departments, and RAG and also some parts of AI are very good tool to address it. What are other challenges in enterprises that when a company wants to implement large language models may face? The first is data security. I would say that there are three levels of data security. The first level is that any company can't in Europe use their data, their customers' data in a ChatGPT, and this is the first level. The second level is if a company just wants to comply to the European law, they may use an API to OpenAI. But if the company wants to be very private, very secure, and it really cares about the security of its data, the best option is to implement it open source on a local machine and use also a closed data base. Another challenge is the misaligned training data, because the AI like ChatGPT is trained on a very broad knowledge base, and there are some different instructions to do the very same thing. These instructions may not align to the company's goals or the processes that the company operates on. Another change is the continuational training, because if we got a large language model, if we want to implement a new knowledge, we need to retrain this model. The same goes for ChatGPT, that ChatGPT only have a knowledge until 2021. So if you have, for example, a constant data flow, we can't process the new data. But if we use Rack, we can constantly upload new files, and then they will be retrieved from it. Another, and I think that the most crucial change, is hallucination. The LLM models tend to come up with fake data, fake knowledge sources. For example, if we ask them to give us some research papers, they come up with fake authors, with fake even links to the papers. And also the change that is correlated to this is that we don't know where this knowledge that we received comes from. And also the responses are very variable. That is also correlates to a change from the beginning, that the training data may vary a lot. And one of the main topics of this presentation, retrieval augmented generation, addresses most of those changes, because first of all, it's a closed knowledge source. So it doesn't operate on the all knowledge that, for example, ChatGPT was trained on, but only the knowledge that the company has provided. So, for example, we give some instructions to the equipment that the company uses, and if we ask, for example, about the error that have occurred, we won't get some random response, some hallucination, but we can get exactly the citation from the instruction. And also, even if we implement it in more advanced way, we can get even the knowledge source, on what page it was found, in which instruction. Also, it can retrieve it from multiple instructions if some instructions need to be combined from different sources. And to define the retrieval augmented generation, it is an AI framework that combines the retrieval, so finding the data, and then the language model, so processing the data that we found to provide us with an answer. And the biggest benefits are no hallucinations. We can constantly adapt it to new knowledge just by updating the vector database. Also, it is much more relevant because it only answers questions based on our company's knowledge, and it is much more scalable. I will just show you quick Rack architecture and how it differs from the general language models like ChatGPT. Normal chatbots only have this part: user query, a prompt, and a model, and a response. But the Rack, the biggest advantage and also the biggest implementing changes of Racks lays here, because if you got a company's knowledge, here we can upload the data. Then it is chunked into smaller chunks, so the small parts of text, like for example, one phrase or some amount of characters. After that, there is a very important process of embedding. So this is a turning of data of a textual or even some visual data into a mathematical representation, vectors, on which we can later perform mathematical operations. And they are stored in a vector database. And when the user asks a query, the Rack application firstly changes this textual question into a vector embedded question. And after that, there is a vector similarity search performed. So we are looking for the closest vector from the vector database to the user query's embedded vector. And after that, that chunks that relates to the found vectors are passed into the part of the prompt, retrieved data. And also in the prompt, we got a constant instructions, like for example, we want to have some given format, like for example, JSON. And in the end, we got a normal query. So in a prompt, the only part that the user inputs is the query, and all that parts are provided by the retrieval part of the application. And after that, it's processed to language model, and we got a response. And here I got a case study about how RAG works, and also how we can retrieve data, for example, from emails that the company receives. In this case study, we got emails, complaint email when customers found that products are faulty, they want to get a refund, they want to have some repair. And the changes that this RAG can address here is first that a lot of those emails are very similar. They got similar data, like for example, name of the customer, his email, the short description of an problem, the refund payment that may occur, the date that the product was purchased. And the solution to this is automating this data extraction and formatting into a JSON, so that it not only is much easier for the employees of the company to process, but also it can be passed further into some companies' IT systems. And for example, we can perform analysis, data quality management analysis. For example, how many a given issue occurs, what product has the most issues, and many more. And the outcome of this case study and this process will be a JSON with a lot of data from the email. Here we got email. The textual part is quite small because it is not very much relevant. The most important part in this slide is the structure of RAG, because if you would use RAG for this purpose, here you got this part instructions that was also shown here. After that, we got retrieved data and query. Here is the whole email, and here is the data that we would like to retrieve, and the specific query from the user. After that, when the user asks query, this query was turned into a vector, and the vector similarity search have found those chunks that are most similar to the query. For example, here we got the chunk that we are exactly looking for with the name of the product, but also here we got the serial number, and also here was a blender mentioned, so probably it's thought that it may relate to this query. And here we got output that the user would ask, and it's also formatted in a JSON that, for example, may be later used in some system, or you can make automation of it, also very, very quickly and very easy. And here, because emails aren't that long, and probably it will be even a waste of time to query the short emails, but still the data is similar. It can be standardized, so we don't need this query part, but we can put in an instruction all the data that we would like to retrieve from it, like customer name, customer email, order number, and many more. And after that, we would get this output. And from this output, we can perform many analyses. We can also, it's much easier for customer support to not read this long email, but just, for example, get this brief description of the issue, the decision that he may make, but he can still reconsider it, the suggested answer to an email, and many data that can be used, for example, to automatically process it to different companies' departments. And this is Flowise. This open source, which is a very big benefit because we can customly adjust it to our needs. Also, it's local run, so it's this third, the highest level of data security. Also, it's a low code, so even non-technical people can use it to make proof of concepts, MVPs of their ideas that can be later developed by some programmers. And this is the part of my presentation, the theoretical part. And I will also show you how Flowise works and how we can very quickly. One moment, I will just switch screens.
Thank you, John, for your questions. Maybe somebody else would like to join the discussion and have some questions for the current presentation. So please don't hesitate to ask them in chat window. We will ask them just after this short presentation.
Okay, a moment, because it still doesn't appear. Okay, do you see the screen with Flowise flowchart? Okay, because at my screen at Zoom it didn't appear, and I thought that it isn't shared. So we just built a very quick retrieval app from the emails. We can call this email data retrieval. And as you can see, this is very nice and very easy for everyone, not only software engineers program. Here we got blogs that we can add. And we are just, this is in a format of drag and drop. So we just can choose our base. Our base will be LLM chain. After that, we are choosing the language model. So we go with OpenAI. Here, because it's all open source, and you can later use this, for example, in your website, in your another app. Here, it's not like built-in models, but you need to provide your API keys. So here is my key. Also, we can adjust temperature. The temperature is the variance of response, how much the model will be creative, or it would be strictly only answering from the given data, word for word. Here we do it in the middle. And then we just connecting it by this kind of. Here we got OpenAI connected. Then we need to connect the prompt. So it will be our like in the presentation, the general instructions, the constant instructions space. So we quickly connect this here, and we may ask that to retrieve given data. If data is not found, we want to have null in JSON. And we got a query. Okay, and this is the part from prompting. And because this app is very simple, the only part we are left is actually the most important part, but this is the part that will split the text into a JSON and would find exactly what data we would like to have. This is the structured output parser. It would structure it into a JSON format. Here we choose parameters. here are some defaults, but I will go with our, like, for example, we can want to retrieve a name of a customer. And we should also provide here the type of data. So it will be a string, so a textual data. Then we can, for example, get customer email. Also string. We can get, for example, refund. So it will be a numerical one. And many more that we can find or we would expect to have in our email, complaint email. And we got an example data here. So should name this. So data retrieval. Okay, and we can save this. And we would see if this works or if we need to connect another part. Here I got some example emails that are fake emails, but they may have occurred. And we'll just pass it to the... Oh, and here we got a JSON format with all the data that we would like to get, like the name, the refund. Here is the error because it didn't font the message that we wanted, but later in code we can, because probably there was no refund mentioned in the email, but we can in code, later code, make it that those error parts would be just parsed out. And after that, what's I think that the biggest benefit of Flowise is that it's not closed only to the app that we are making in. So it's not that we have to connect to the Flowise server, but here we got a full code of this app and that we can just copy. And then we can go to our website. It's a very simple mock website that only have some text here. And we just paste this code. We can save it. And after that, if we open the website, one moment, because it doesn't want to. Oh, yes, here. And we can ask this, one moment, I'll just check it here. Okay, we got this right. And we can ask this about this email. So for example, let's go with another one. Our email. And then we got all the data that we would like to retrieve. Also before that, because our time is limited and I didn't want to input all these keys, so I got also the another application. Here is the React on because I think that especially in annual reports we can get a lot of interesting data that we can interestingly process. So here we got Google's report, and here is the React application. So the application that retrieves it based on chunks and embeddings. And we can, for example, ask to get the data in a table format from a cash flow statement. I guess that maybe not this one. Just quickly go here. We got index, because probably the app is connected to a different one. Just go here. And by the way, here we got our whole app here up, so it's quite more complicated. And we can just copy, for example, this pop-up. So it will just not be the whole chat screen, but it will be a little circle in the corner that we can later open and chat with. We got our app. Let's just get this, and here's our new code. Let's save it. And here we can open it. Beta. This would be this one. Oh, and here we got our icon. Oh, and actually it was working, but probably because of the low internet latency, there was a big delay and this part, but after that, maybe I'll just look here. Our data. And let's make a new query. And here it has retrieved it from the Google's income statement, and we can also, for example, ask to create this table. A table with most important figures from profit and loss. And what's interesting, it can also output our data into a table format. And I think that's all for this presentation. They are I think one of the most simple RAG applications that we can easily build in Flowways without any knowledge of coding or software engineering. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention, and I will pass the mic.
Yeah, applause for the presentations. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. It's really remarkable how you can create those models in just a few minutes. Of course, you need to know how to do it. And then we had some questions, but I consulted Piotr, and he suggested that since we have now a panel discussion, it will be easier for us to ask those questions directly, so we can talk about those two presentations as well as some other questions we might have. So now this is my role and privilege to welcome all of the panelists, and let's also make it a sound check, so we know that everybody is connected and can participate in this panel discussion. And first of all, let me invite to this panel discussion Natalia Bielczyk. Natalia, are you with us? Okay, I don't see her. Maybe she'll connect us later. So the next person that is on my list is Marek Roszak, or I should call Professor Marek Roszak. So welcome. Can you say a few words so we know you are here?
Yes, I have. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we are looking forward for your input into the discussion. The next to me is well known to all of us, Piotr Senkus. So Piotr, welcome to this panel discussion. Then our marvel for asking questions and active participation, John Kilmer. So John, welcome again to this session, and say hello, please, so we know you are connected to us.
Howdy.
Can you hear me all?
Yeah. Yeah, we can. We do. How do you? Then we have David Rubens. David, you're also here with us at Nutro Pharma. Say hello, so we know we can run the discussion from here.
Greetings, I hope you can hear me. Suresh, could you hear me? Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. There is a small delay since we are sitting in the same room. And then, last but not least, we have also Jacek Ostrowski, our host here from Nutro Pharma. So welcome again.
Nice to hear you again.
So, and the last person who is on the list is Colin Lewis. As Piotr has mentioned, ill. Let me just double check, maybe something covered to join us. No, so we can only wish him all the best, so he can recover from the flu he got just yesterday. So thank you for those presentations, and let me invite all the panel members to this discussion. And let me first ask a question to Professor Roszak. And on the basis of your vast knowledge, could you tell us a little bit more? That was also one of the questions that John asked during the Nutro Pharma presentation. So what do you think? How can ISO standards integrate with AI for quality management? And what challenges can you foresee this process? So, Marek, could you please elaborate on that?
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this event and for the opportunity to present my thoughts. This topic is very current and existing. It will develop dynamically. Thank you for your introduction me and asking the question. I will answer them briefly. Quality management is an essential element of every organization's activities. Every quality organization is looking for solutions that support quality improvement. Improvement applies to processes and products implemented in the organization. A globally reorganized tool for organizations is the implementation of quality management systems based on ISO standards. The standard related to quality management is the ISO 9001 standard. It is currently being amended. This should also note this inclusion of artificial intelligence in the standard subject to change. The artificial intelligence, the ISO 38507 standard, information technology, governance of IT, governance and implication of organization, use of artificial intelligence was issued in 2022. This is a valuable standard for using artificial intelligence in organizational management. The standard defines artificial intelligence as a family of technologies that combine computing power, scalability, networks, connected devices, and interface, along with massive amounts of data. The approach to artificial intelligence here is the comprehensive. What is worth paying attention to? Artificial intelligence is closely related to the dynamics of information technology development. It requires keeping up with change in this regard. It is a critical aspect of the application of the artificial intelligence. This aspect, it also relates of the management system, such as the first, business continuity management for the ISO 22301 standard, business continuity management system. The next, requirements compliance management, ISO 37301 standard compliance management system requirements with guidelines for use, and information security management, the ISO 27001 standard information security management. It is worth noting the artificial intelligence must be considered within the scope of the above activities. An integrated approach to the topic should be used here. Another standard in artificial intelligence is the ISO 42001 standard for artificial intelligence management system. Its purpose is to help organizations develop a robust artificial intelligence governance framework. It set the requirements for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continuously improvement and AI management system. We expect artificial intelligence to be effective, reliable, fair, and transparent. This is very important in terms of quality management. The use of artificial intelligence in solving quality problems must meet this criteria. Especially since some improvement solution may be subject to patenting activities. Standard and standardization can play an essential role in managing AI and helping to minimize the risks associated with its use. It is essential to be able to identify these threats. Standards can be used in organization, and there is a noticeable need to develop good practice solution. The positive importance of artificial intelligence is emphasized, but this topic cannot be viewed only through the prism of its positive effect. You also need to consider the threats. In terms of artificial intelligence management and quality management, I consider the most critical issues at this time to be the first. Artificial intelligence has the potential to serve as support for solving quality problems in organizations. It can support interdisciplinary groups in solving problems, but cannot be treated as a decision-making tool that will indicate the cause or solution of a given issue. The potential of artificial intelligence concerns in-depth analysis of the problem, and this is a value that can be used. There are also risks associated with the use of artificial intelligence in quality management, including what? The aspect of data and information management. Who will use them, where, how? And the next, appropriate security of data and system used, and use information technology. The aspect of artificial intelligence concern, in particular, three aspects included in the ISO standard of quality management. The first one concerns knowledge management. The requirements for knowledge management in organization in the ISO 9001 standard in the years of 2015. This is the requirements of the point of 716 organization knowledge. During the current amendment of the standard, artificial intelligence should be included in the requirements of the ISO 9001 standard, at last in a minimal aspect. The second aspect, to process approach. It is essential to collect data to be used for quality management. The third aspect, is the approach based on risk thinking. It is important to skillfully diagnose the risk associated with using artificial intelligence in the organization, the risk associated with using data in activities related to artificial intelligence are very important. As of today, here are a lot of unknowns. As I present, standards for artificial intelligence management have already been developed. I see great potential for using artificial intelligence in quality management. The new ISO standard 9001 should include requirements related to artificial intelligence. Maybe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Roszak, for your presentation and for your answer to my question. I think this is really a great opportunity to use AI, first of all, as knowledge creation tool. I saw so many ISO systems that were developed and then not necessarily used in real life. I think once we have AI, it will be a great opportunity to fully utilize this. So again, thank you for this answer. And let me now move on to Piotr Senkus. And since we now know what's the current status of the AI application for quality management using ISO systems, let me ask you, Piotr, a question about the current trends in AI and quality management. And what do you think how organizations can embrace the changes that are ahead of them? So could you please talk about the future of AI implementation?
Yeah, actually, what Tymoteusz did, he showed the most current trends, because the most important processes when considering the organization, there are processes which connect directly to customer. If we have customer which doesn't like your product or has problems with your product, nowadays he can spread his opinion worldwide, yeah, through Twitter, Facebook, whatever. In the classical time before Facebook, it was told that every customer which feels bad about the service or product will tell 18 people his bad opinion, and compare one customer will tell who is satisfied will tell another one that he is satisfied. Now with Facebook, Twitter, he can tell the whole world his opinions, and yeah, that the customer processes are the most important to be supported with AI. Another thing is to developing new products and new solutions. Yeah, imagine you have assistants who read internet twice or even 3 times, and multiply it with agents you can create, because they may show to one agent, but what the truth is, you can create multiple instances of what agents, giving them specific roles. Yeah, so one will be creator, one be let's say discussion panelist, and one would always tell no, yeah, to confront the opinions. And with that tools, you can give new ideas of new products, solutions, and whatever you want in one day, not 1 year like before. Yeah. So R&D process is second one, and I think also strategic processes. We have Tomasz Ludwicki, and consider crafting strategy for new company. During the COVID and after the COVID, some strategists trying to tell you that, okay, let's shorten the perspective of our strategy. And they make strategy for 5 years, 4 years. For me, strategy is still like Chinese are telling. We are thinking about strategy like 1,000 years. If you can with AI, you can analyze more data to build more scenarios. Yeah. If you think that your pretty strategy, what you are crafting, will be actual for let's say next 10 years, could be, but 90% it will not be. But the issue is not building one plan. The issue is building quite a few strategies. And if you make 4 strategies, hopefully one of them will work out. Yeah. So what are the 3 groups? Customer care, then R&D, then strategies. I would implement definitely AI in that 3 groups. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piotr, for the answer for my question. I really like this touch on strategy. I strongly believe, like it was mentioned yesterday, that we underestimate results of AI within long-term horizon will be really significant, and overestimate over short-term horizon. But still, we need some proof of technology. So my last question will go to Jacek Ostrowski, and afterwards I'll invite everybody here to join our discussion. And the question is actually about your plans here at Nutropharma. So could you please elaborate on the specific areas where Nutropharma is considering further use of AI and other technologies in order to improve the product quality or maybe efficiency?
Okay, thank you. So as I presented on my presentation, we started from the raw materials. We are coming from the practical point of view. Yes, we are just a company which has also some kind of a which have to just sell the product. Yes, of course, we concentrate on the customer because customer needs are most important thing for us. But so this is the if I would order the priorities, our priorities. First, I would like. I think we will start after this, which was presented with the customer service support with the use of AI. But also we see some potential in waste management and generally environmental things. So we think these areas we start after the implementation of the first 2 projects. Of course, we see that the AI possibilities are unlimited. So we, according to, of course, our sources and our here the possibilities, we will start to develop other areas. But yes, the customer service now and customer support and also the environmental services. I think these are the 2 areas where we try to find solution with the use of AI. Yes, so this is my answer.
Thank you very much for this answer. Let me ask one more follow-up question, which is again to Jacek. So, what were the biggest barriers for AI implementation in our company, and how did you deal with them?
Well, from my point of view, is generally the collecting the data, which should be just transferred through the AI technology. Some kind of a good designing the our needs and our assumptions for the project. I think this is the good just to system for the companies like ours should be tailor-made and generally very good design for our proposals. So this is, I think, it was the main point answering to your question.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer. Let me invite all of the panelists. Maybe you can answer questions each another, so we have some discussion. I still have a question from John pending to Mateusz, but maybe we can wait for a minute about it. So, do you have any questions, any comments to the presentations, to the answers for my questions? Okay, I don't see any question. We have, yeah.
Question for Rubens.
Yeah. So now.
Yeah. What do you think Yeah, David. We discussed that before. Quality management has tied with risk management. As you heard our presentations, how would you implement AI with quality, with risk and risk management, quality management? What you see in common in it?
Thank you, Peter, and thank you to everybody. Fascinating conversations. In terms of the connection between quality management and risk management and how AI can overlay that, I think that if you look at the organizations that we're dealing with, the fundamental quality of those organizations is complexity. I think they are complex organizations working in complex environments, looking at complex problems that have complex solutions, etc., etc. And my feeling is that within those complex organizations, you have built-in dysfunctionalities. And I think what AI does, it gives you a sensitivity to your own organization. I think from a risk management perspective, it is very easy to look into the outside world for what the risks we're facing are. But actually, for a complex organization, the dysfunctionalities internally are the problems that cause most problems. Most organizations, for example, do not have the capability to discuss risk in a rational way. They do not have a lexical, they do not have a terminology or a risk awareness. Many people have very low understanding of their own risk profile, even though what they're doing has a very high level of criticality to their own organization. And though we would like to believe our organizations are resilient, in many aspects, they're actually quite fragile. They're fragile and they are breakable, and they have very little redundancy built into them. So I think that what AI does, it allows us to create a sensitivity across our organization, to build a model, an overarching integrated model that allow us to have, perhaps, to use a phrase, a shared point of truth, that everybody across that complex organization, of course, that includes your complex network of networks, because you are dependent on networks of networks, many of which have no control over. But if I can look at that from my perspective of risk management, you have on one side, you have the aspiration to become a secure and a functioning, efficient organization. And I think what each one of us and everybody involved in that has is fundamentally three objectives, which is to have influence, to have impact, and to have legacy. And I think what we need to bring is a methodology. What is a methodology that allows us to do that? And from my perspective, as an academic and a practitioner working within risk management, and quality control is absolutely part of that. I think we can look at some of the aspects, some of the attributes we need to bring to the table. And we have within academia, we have this concept of a high reliability organization. What a zero failure organization. And they are generally very technical organizations. You have NASA, for example, or you have a nuclear power station, or global airline management, for example. But the significant thing that makes a high reliability organization is not the technical stuff, but the acceptance of responsibility of risk management. And I think that what we're asking is two fundamental questions. And I think one question has been very, very deeply answered or discussed over the last hour and a half. And that is, what do we need to do? And how will we achieve that? What are our objectives? How we achieve? Those are technical questions. Those are engineering questions. But I think a parallel question is, what sort of organization we think we need to become? What does a risk-sensitive, crisis-ready organization mean in 2025, 2027, 2030? And one thing I can promise you is, if you think you can do that using the tools you used in 2018, then you have missed the memo. And fundamentally, we are going through a paradigm shift in the world we live in. And I think that complex organizations in particular, whether they're government organizations or they're major cities or they're critical national infrastructure or their large-scale manufacturing, whatever it might be. They're having to ask themselves, how do we exist, not from an engineering perspective, but from a biological perspective, from an ecological perspective? What is the risk environment we're operating in? And how do we become resilient within that? And I think AI has a real role to play within that. Because what AI does, and it's been mentioned here before, it allows you to have pattern recognition. It allows you to go into deep data. It allows you to recognize pattern recognition. And one of the things we look at from a resilient organization, working within those environments very much, is sensitivity to your environment. What is your sensitivity to your environment? And more than that, what is your sensitivity to changes in your environment? And for example, if you look at COVID-19, which started coming out of Wuhan, China in November 2019, there was no sensitivity in Europe to the changes in the environment. They lost 3 months. And there is no question about it. If they had that sensitivity and were able to react and respond 3 months earlier, that would have a significant impact. So I think that one of the things that we as people operating in that environment need to do is we need to accept the truth of the challenges that we are facing. And most of us don't want to, certainly governments don't want to do that, and politicians don't want to do that, and many decision makers do. But what I think AI brings more than anything to those who know how to use it is, it allows you to be not just a learning organization, but a fast learning organization. And I think if we ask ourselves the question, what sort of organization do we wish to be 2025 out to 2027, 2030? We want to be a fast learning organization. I think that is something that we need to bring to the game. But if we can take that and we can take the acceptance of responsibility to get this right, because at the end of the day, getting it wrong has consequences, then I think we have a starting position to move forward. And I think for any organization looking to do that, AI has a valuable and critical role to play.
Thank you very much for this insight. The organization name stands for what you say, so ISRM, and this is not just a local perspective and some examples we can have, but a helicopter view of the changes that are awaiting for us. And as Ulrika has mentioned in her post, we are looking for a methodology. We are looking for a template, how to use AI for this fast knowledge. And actually, I think that's a perfect time to switch to another panelist, who is John Kilmer. And could you just tell us a little bit more about the value core, the human emotion analysis technology, so-called HEAT, how we can use it in order to enhance the quality management processes and how it can contribute to the better decision making? Because I think this is one of the methodologies we can consider as a way how to put AI into practice from the presentations. So, John, could you just tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, I think we're really getting to a really critical point in the discussion where it's the human factor. We need a methodology, and that methodology is emotional intelligence. Peter, and Thomas, you guys talk about, and David, it's the fear component and moving too fast. And it's kind of interesting how this is all coming into play here. That's why discussions like this, Peter, are so important, David, and everybody here, to have these discussions, because they lead to points like this. Understanding emotional intelligence. But before I even go into what HEAT is, we need to understand what the lack of strong emotional intelligence does to the marketplace, to the workforce. We talk about today quality management and how to ensure that we are being able to really make sure our products, our people, are at the peak of their performance. And one of the big things is the workforce, keeping that job, or maintaining that job. And it's hard because there is a lack of strong emotional intelligence. And relating this to really what you were mentioning about this methodology to ensure the balance between AI, its progress that's being motivated by people, and how we balance that regulatory with quality management and risk management with the human factor, and then add the human emotion factor. And we need to be able to use technologies like HEAT, which is an emotional technology that helps us easily recognize and clarify, because this also plays into the issue with AI, machine learning, facial recognition, and a lot of other AI technologies. They're flawed because they haven't taken the time to vet and validate their process. And so that's one of the things that we have spent essentially 8 years in R&D, just these past 2 years. We've actually started applying the technology. So it gives you the extent and the severity that as humans, we need to ensure the technology we're creating, that quality management, that highest standard is being applied to that process. And so what we've done at ValueCore US is create a massive, complex, but seamlessly easy user interface called HEAT. It's an emote technology, and HEAT stands for Human Emotion Analysis Technology. And Thomas, this goes straight into your point. This is the methodology that will be applied to ensure quality management is maintained and risk management is adhered to ensure that we as humans do not get ahead of ourselves, because we get excited. We want to implement things. We want to be recognized. We want to have all this now. And with a day and age where there's so much information, we want that answer right now, but we can't. We need to step back as humans. We need to look at our emotions from within ourselves, but also from a client-patient perspective. When we look at vetting people who are working for our companies, for instance, that is a form of quality management. That's a form of risk management being applied to that human factor. And what that does is that it ensures that we are not missing a step. We are ensuring that human factor is really being paid attention to. And when we start focusing on that human factor, then we see, hey, what does John's emotional profile look like? How does this relate to maybe me hiring him as a quality manager for Nutripharma? How does this ensure that Nutripharma is applying its best practices through a scientific approach, but also a humanistic approach that can ensure when they integrate artificial intelligence that it's at its peak, and ensuring risk management is at its highest standard and quality management at its higher standard. And it goes all back to the human emotion factor, because our thoughts dictate our emotions, and our thoughts are perceived from internally from us, but also from the societal external components and variables. And that all plays a play in our emotions. And so what we do at ValueCore US is we look into your emotions and we apply that to a variety of fields. I don't have it on this phone, excuse me all. But it's what we want to do is increase that efficiency. We want to mitigate that risk. And why is this so imperative to quality management and risk management? And it goes back to that methodology, as you were saying, Thomas. By applying this, we reduce that risk. We increase that efficiency as a quality, as a team within a company, because you have different teams, different departments. But then you also have that individual component. And so what that does, it decreases that human emotion error factor. It increases that human performance. It makes those better decisions. It increases your revenue generation and work-life balance. This day and age, we work. Well, what does that do? We create fatigueness. It probably exerts to a higher probability of alcoholism, drug addiction. There needs to be this correction. AI can fuel that, but we must step back as humans, slow down and say, hey, how am I feeling today? This was my EP today. I was a little surprised because Peter had reached out to me, and I'm feeling pretty genuinely happy from my differential, but you can see my live session. But then when you look over a period of time, you can tell I'm not always the happiest guy. And then when we start tailoring this technology and mode tech to certain industries, like Nutripharma's business model, or to AI, making sure we are having the right people in the right positions. Because I think, Thomas, you made not Thomas, it was David, you made power leads to corruption. Well, it doesn't. I have to disagree with that. It's the person's mindset. It's what they've been taught. We have to ensure there's checkpoints established. And as we do that, moving forward, we can use AI, we can use emotional intelligence to ensure a stronger quality management. And it really starts with the human emotion factor. And by doing that, we have really an amazing ability to empower ourselves with AI, to embrace it, to not fear it, to understand it, and to say, okay, individually and societally, I know the power of this, I know the destruction of this, I know the goodwill of this, and by the way, I know the right human person to tap into that position and lead it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really mind-blowing, but I couldn't leave you the meeting before answering the question, what was 7 on the wave chart? Because that was, I don't know if maybe that's private question, so you don't have to answer it. But if you go back on 7, you were very, not you, but
we share it.
Was very happy. So I'm wondering, what was 7?
Which one on the analysis?
On the wave chart. If you go to 7, happiness is skyrocketing. No, on the previous one. This one is much more complicated. On this one, you see, there is 7 and happiness is skyrocketing. So could you tell us what happened, if that's possible, of course?
Oh, of course. So what we're looking here through our studies is variances. These variances may be subtle or significant. This one is significant. What we can tell by this is that I'm most likely giving a Duchenne smile here. I'm smiling like this because of suppression of all my other emotions into one emotion. And so it's probably, hey, John's probably given you a fake smile. Okay, well, we can probably look at past sessions through our history tab and say, hey, what's John's potential MO for his EPs? And we can say, well, John usually smiles when he's maybe trying to be deceptive. And we need to understand deception is not a bad thing. I think it's been labeled very bad. Deception may happen in the form of fear. Deception may happen in the form of, I don't want to tell you because I don't know who you are. Deception may happen because it is ill intent. So people, when they hear deception, they say, oh, it's bad. It's not always bad. It's maybe because it comes out of fear. For me, I use, as here you can say, and I'm very open about this, because the more we're open with each other, the less we have to hide and the less we have to potentially internally and externally fear. So I'm very transparent. What you see here at point 7, I smile. It's a fake smile, Duchenne smile. because you can tell by the variance there's a suppression of all the other emotions. Boom, it jumps up. So if you maybe, for instance, go into a discussion and you're having maybe an interview, or you're looking for a quality manager to lead your team, and you ask a very hard baseline question, and then you see, hey, boom, there's a smile. Well, you could probably dictate from your studying or knowing of this is a high variance, significant variance. So maybe I want to tap into that question a little bit more during my vetting process to ensure that I get the right person into my position. And so that's the significance of human emotion and the emotional intelligence technology of HEAT, because it's a combination. You just don't look at the wave chart, but then you can look at, hey, the analysis tab. What is this telling you? Well, let's go even deeper into this. We can zoom it out and we can say, whoa, what's going on here? All right, here's a huge variance. Okay, there's a dip in John's unhappiness. So that's telling me more about how does John think? Now we look at the snap chart and the code system 57531, the highest emotions. And we see here, then we compare that to the diff chart. Well, hey, there's a smile there. There's a high potency of smile here, but here's a negative smile. Again, you're learning, okay, maybe John wasn't actually using the smile, happiness. Maybe he was trying to deflect. Okay, what is John maybe really feeling? Looks anger and fear and sadness. Well, what can we tell about John? John's probably not the happiest guy, which I'm not. I smile to say that I'm happy, but I've had a very hard life. But so, again, tailoring this to the different industries.
John, thank you very much for this extensive answer to my simple question. It just proves, the quality of the model. It's not simple. It's really developed model. And I think just listening to it, it says great potential for using this with industries with S. So for sure, any service industry, I mean, it's a person-to-person relation. Then you have security and safety. This is also people-to-people relations, and who you are and how you behave. It's really important. And then finally, sales. If you're a salesperson, then it differs, and then maybe you can stay. You don't have to call all day.
Media, quantified, analytical data. We're working with a media firm right now on mass data collection, and the thing is, how do we also protect and minimize the exposure of that PI? IP, and we've done that.
Yeah, so that's just enormous applications of this tool, with of course a lot of questions about privacy. Was it fake? Was it real? And so on and so forth. But thank you very much, John, for this presentation. And since the time is pressing us, so let me pass the voice to Piotr, who organized this. And thank you very much for your participation and presentations. Piotr, please take on.
Yes, thank you very much. We are, every event has to have special sauce, which is not taught on the program. And our special sauce is my friend Attila. Actually, he was invited to put that special sauce today in the morning, but he will show us some VR application to quality management. So Ati, the floor is yours.
Sure thing. I think everybody can hear me, right? Yes. First of all, I would like to show actually a couple of examples, because when you say quality management, risk management, the production area, of course, we cannot imagine the XR without AI. This is for sure. That goes without saying. But also, we should know how we can utilize XR actually by the help of AI actually in production lines, and especially in, let's say, occupational safety and health and risk management. So I would like to maybe show some examples, actually, sharing my screen. I would like to try just to demonstrate the basic mindset for our production areas, how we can utilize the XR. So I cannot share my screen. Piotr, if I may ask, could you please?
I will send a claim to IT.
Yeah, it says the authorization is required. It's not permitted.
Yeah, I called the IT.
But I can send maybe. I can send you the links as well. No worries. I can send you the links because I had the.
How to do it?
To send, for example, this presentation to you, email, and present it from your computer. From your profile.
Yeah, okay, you can see, show it on my computer?
Yes, mostly.
Yeah, okay, so come on.
But some of them no.
No, but you should have privileges now. We have great service from Konrad.
Oh, yes.
We are online.
Yes, university, sorry.
So,
Yeah, Patrick, thank you very much.
let's go through. First of all, I would like to show, because you will see the demos, but of course I will be explaining there are some different languages as well, but don't worry, no worries. So first of all, let's go through. I would like to show you some examples from occupational safety. Because when we are talking about XR, actually we are talking about the experience, and the experience goes without, doesn't go without actually the realistic simulations. But first, let's go through first one by one. First of all, I would like to show you one is the occupational safety and health simulation in production area, how you get equipped, how you protect yourself, what kind of things you should fulfill before going into the production. And I will just maybe go forward. So you will have a basic checklist, and everything that functions in that room will be part of your duties. And this is of course example, but the most important part is the equipment. So if you're in a production, you know how to get equipped. The first thing comes first. So I'm just leaving. And for each equipment, you will have a chance to show them actually to your, people, how to use them, the meaning, the descriptions, and even we can add AI robots in the production area in simulations. Yeah, we are talking about always data like the code, but let's talk about the bit fun part of AI. And when it comes to simulations, as you can as you can see actually, he's dead. Why? Because he was not holding the stairways. And this is one of the most important part, because most of the cases, people should experience the moment of death. And it shows in every way how to use, how to hold, how to tie your rope for any kind of occupational safety. So this is one example, of course. And there is also, I would like to show maybe fire intervention. So fire intervention is the basic part, the basic simulation actually in the market even. But how you do it, how you retrieve the data is crucial. So basically, it's like a basic simulation, but actually we are collecting the data here. How many times, trainees failed? How many times they tried? Which ones they picked? And which fire extinguisher they picked? They should pick, and they will be just practicing, of course, like a real time, and we will be retrieving the data. So this is like the basic simulation. I will not go through it so much. So the other thing that I would like to show actually from maybe not extinguisher, but I would like to show. Could be useful for especially quality management and the production. This is AR project, but mainly actually you're just seeing everything in your room, in your environment. But also you can just switch into mixed reality and you will be again touching those parts, I don't know, machines, products, whatever. But the main idea here, I would like to show you it because basically actually you're seeing everything in your room. But the main idea is here to get the description, to get the functions, to touch them and to feel them somehow. So here it's AR, of course, you cannot go further, but basically you will have a chance to touch, draw, or any kind of interaction will be possible here. And without actually further, how do you collect the data? Right now, we are focusing on actually for the data because we were talking about the data collection, etc. But we are doing at the moment a XR learning management system, which means you will have a chance to collect all data in your XR manager, and you will be able to see all interactions, all the data. I mean, even a heat map will be included. I mean, interaction as well as interaction levels. But this is not the only way. It will be released. But also, you can customize spaces. I mean, the labs, production area, or even the buildings, etc., based on the requirements. And I would like to show here maybe just a small lab example, and you will have more insight. And then I will just go for the last part. So basically, it's a lab environment where you can experience like different physics or different topics, but it should be like in a lab. It should be practiced in the lab. So just internet connection. So basically, we have instructions, and based on the instructions and the duties, the equipments will appear in front of you in the table. So basically, you can just see, you can try different experiments based on, of course, your production and your requirements. We are customizing this part. And the most important part, in any case, in any environment, it's possible to add AI assistance as the AI training assistant, let's say. And of course, I'm demonstrating like the really simple, I mean, in short way, let's say, but of course you can reach out to those things. And there is one more thing. This is like PC VR, but also you can use it as like a standalone. The last part, maybe I'm not sure if we have time, if the time allows. I would like to show you
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So I would like to show you how your hands look like in the virtual reality, how realistic experience you can get. So this is actually like one of our experiments. I mean, our XR lead, John, was trying, and we customized it, and we are implementing it at the moment. So basically, you are just seeing the environment, but I would like you to focus on one thing. Mostly you are using your consoles, not your hands. This is one thing. And you are just using like, open the hand and close the hand. Like, it's just like 2 ways. But here we are actually trying to implement hand tracking. And in this hand tracking, you will have a you will have a chance to choose any object you want. You can play with them in any way you wish. But also, when you implement your hand tracking, you will hold the object, of course, but afterwards, if you would like to enter, let's say, throw this object or just smash something with this object, you should really do it with your hand. And there is one, actually, I would like to show you one example of it. Not the first guns. Exactly this part. If you would like to use it, the objects, in a very harsh way, actually you should do it like a bit with console, right? It will be possible. But also, when you use your hands, it will be more realistic. When you just hold the object properly, it will be actually in our case. And for all things, for all production areas, it should be considered. Last but not least, I would like to mention, right now we are actually focusing and collaborating actually with PCB, which is an accreditation center, and we are planning to give ISO certifications through XR technologies. And we are creating we are creating a simulation for only this certification delivery. So when you get this delivery even, you will have a chance to get recognized by PCB in terms of this ISO standards you would pick. So this is all from my side. I hope like it will be useful for the end of the end of the panel. And thank you very much, Piotr.
Yes, we are almost getting to the end. I would like to show you our forthcoming events. We are planning to make 2 events with our companion. First will be, of course, HumanTech Summit. But in addition, we want to organize startup fairs for coming startups. And it could be a very interesting idea to have it with our initiatives. And I also would like to invite, or you notice that Ulrika was active today. Yeah, I want to ask her actually to be a part of our HumanTech Summit or AI, the game changer, Wygląda finale. She is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best Swedish designers. She designs UX, UI. But what is the most interesting, Ulrika is also relative to a very famous painter, Hilma af Klint, and she will tell us the holistic view of our progress, what we can have in the future things. Yesterday, Tomasz told that with AI, we should consider more to the paintings, to art. So we will be happy that Ulrika will have a speech on our conference about that issues. So thank you very much for attending our conference. We are happy to see you and welcome to our future events, which of course will be, I think, next month, HumanTech Meetings.
Next month?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Before the summer, it's not the best idea to organize anything.
Okay, so I think summit will be next event. Thank you very much for attending. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.